last night there in the city of Rabat. It was all about the winners from the African championships. We call that African awards, where definitely players were rewarded for their hard work during the course of last season. It's the course of a calendar year, and their performance definitely earned them so many titles. And when you talk about the titles that were won yesterday, for Nigeria, the Super Falcons of Nigeria, Mission X, they did that successfully there in Morocco this year. You talk about the Morocco under-20 national team. Yes, they did that so well there in Chile as well. And then you talk about the biggest winners themselves, Chiamaka Nnadozie, Yasin Bonu, Achraf Hakimi. Well, this man, he won the Young African Player of the Year. But then you tell that this year, 2025, definitely the status, it has changed, winning the African Player of the Year. What a night that was for Achraf Hakimi, crowned the Men's Player of the Year. Out of the 3 finalists, he was the only one present by his injury. And then in the female game, Rasheedat Ajibade, not the best of news. Yes, she was overlooked as Gislen Chebak of Al Hilal and the Atlas Lionesses of Morocco went home with the title of the African Women's Player of the Year. That has met lots of controversy over the course of the last 12 hours. What has she won to be deserving of the title? Well, of course, for Nigerians, they think that Esther Okoronkwo is the rightful winner of the African Player of the Year. But believe me, she didn't make the final shortlist. And then in the shortlist, Rasheedat Ajibade was definitely overlooked. Well, you talk about some other interesting updates. Like I said, Chiamaka Nnadozie winning a three-peat, back to back, Women's African Goalkeeper of the Year. Definitely, it's a good one for Chiamaka Nnadozie. We will listen to the words of Chiamaka on the show. We will listen to the words of Yasin Bonu also on the show. And definitely how Patrice Motsepe and Giannis Infantino announced Achraf Hakimi as the Men's African Player of the Year. Well, yesterday also, the UEFA Women's Champions League games went down. For Manchester United, they suffered their first defeat to the hands of Wolfsburg. You remember Wolfsburg also? They are a solid side when we talk about women's football and the UEFA Women's Champions League. And then you see, for Arsenal Football Club, what was their performance like yesterday? They came from a goal down to defeat Real Madrid, who defeated them in the first leg of their quarterfinals encounter last season. Alessia Russo definitely did that, and they came back to defeat Real Madrid 2-1. St. Pölten and Veneraga 2-2 the game ended. Juventus and Lyon 3-3 ended. Paris Football Club, they defeated that's Christy Uchebe's Benfica by 2-0. Those were the games that went down yesterday in the UEFA Champions League. But let's take a listen to the words of Alessia Russo saying that Arsenal Women's Football Club, as the defending champions, they have 2 important or must-win games to play in the UEFA Champions League. The program is Scoreboard in 15, and you're listening to the voice of Oluwatimileni Sami. So good on the program this lovely Thursday morning, the 28th day in the 11th month of the year 2022. The words of Alessia Russo.
To do a role for the team, but what's your preferred position?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I understand the 9 more. I think 10 I have to really lock in defensively because it's such a different responsibility. I mean, I will play anywhere. They're both different. They're both, I have to kind of adapt my game a little bit. But yeah, ultimately I want to be as close to the goal as possible in between the sticks. So
there's an argument to suggest here, Alessia, they're actually the first few games in this league phase have been the hardest. You now move towards Twente next, and hopefully that's a win, more points, and then into the playoff positions. Do you feel that you're finally now, after tonight, getting a bit of momentum here?
I hope so, yeah. Obviously, we go off to international break. People can reset and refresh, ready for a massive block before Christmas. Because, yeah, like you said, we've got Leuven and Twente, but we need to win them both. So we have to be locked in and ready to go as soon as we're back from international.
Well, it was brilliant watching you tonight. Thank you.
All right, so there you listen. All right, today you listen to the words of Alessia Russo, the Arsenal and the English forward. Well, speaking about the all-important game before Arsenal Women's Football Club, just to ensure that they stay in the playoffs or maybe qualify automatically into the UEFA Champions League, that's round of 16. Well, games are set to continue later today in the UEFA Women's Champions League, and from those games are set to go down. Well, we know 20 against Atletico de Madrid, Chelsea against Barcelona, Leuven women against AS Roma, and PSG against Bayern Munich. But let's leave that and come back to the continent of Africa and definitely enjoy how 𝐃𝐈𝐒 𝐂𝐿 was announced the Men's African Player of the Year.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Achraf Hakimi.
Okay. 1, 2.
All right, today you listen to how 𝐃𝐈𝐒 𝐂𝐿 was announced as the Men's African Player of the Year. Of course, his ever-present mother was there with him and his brother on a scooter. Definitely, he got to the stage to lift off that prestigious African Player of the Year award. What a good night, or what a great night it was for 𝐃𝐈𝐒 𝐂𝐿. And then you talk about the women's game, Ghislaine Chebak. Well, a lot of people, like I said, they've actually criticized this, but we know we don't have a say. But we'll see how things go. Let's see what the voting process was like, or what the results were like. How close Rasheedat Ajibade was to winning the award, or how it was a landslide victory for Ghislaine Chebak in winning the African Women's Player of the Year. But now let's take a listen to the words of Chiamaka Nnadozie, who definitely won the Women's Goalkeeper of the Year. 3-peat for her. The words of Chiamaka Nnadozie.
Congratulations, Women's Goalkeeper of the Year. It's been a great year for you. Nigeria won Women's AFCON. How much does it mean for you today?
This really means a lot to me. Winning it third time in a row is not really easy. It's a symbol of dedication, consistency, and hard work. And of course, thanks to my teammates who made this possible.
And I want you to give a message to all the young girls out there that want to be like you and win 3 awards in a row and lead the country so well.
Yeah, my advice to the young girls, no time is too late. Whatever you are doing, it doesn't matter the age. Keep working hard, keep doing the right thing. Always learn from your seniors and always listen to your coaches. Stay humble, pray hard, and everything will be fine.
The most important thing, stay humble. The words of Chiamaka Nnadozie, who definitely winning 3 times in a row. She said it wasn't easy. It's just a symbol of dedication, consistency, and hard work. Now, the biggest winners yesterday, Player of the Year men's 𝐃𝐈𝐒 𝐂𝐿, Player of the Year women Ghislaine Chebak of Morocco, Goalkeeper of the Year Yasin Bono, and Goalkeeper of the Year women Chiamaka Nnadozie. Well, you talk about Morocco, where definitely it was their country which definitely hosted the awards, but it was a landslide victory for the Moroccans. And then you talk about the Coach of the Year. This definitely was deserving of Pedro Liato Brito, a.k.a. Bubista of Cape Verde. What did Cape Verde do? Well, they qualified to the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup. And you also can tell about the good work this man has done. The Interclub Player of the Year, Fiston Mayele of Democratic Republic of Congo. Well, you call that respect as well. He dumped out Nigeria from the FIFA Men's World Cup hopes of the playoffs, the intercontinental playoffs. The captain of the side, he definitely did that so well. The Young Player of the Year men, that's talking about who Othman Mama of of Morocco, the Young Player of the Year women, Doa El Madani of Morocco as well. And then the Interclub of the Year men, Pyramids of Egypt, National Team of the Year Morocco under 20, National Team of the Year, that's the women's Nigeria. So it was a great night there in Morocco, but we'll come later in the afternoon to take a look at these winners. How deserving were they to definitely go home with the awards yesterday. Right, so let's switch our focus away from all of that and still talk about some other interesting updates from the world of football. And this is as regards the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup. December 5th, that's when the draws would go down, but the third-seeded teams for the draw, including Germany, but not Croatia, were set yesterday when FIFA published new rankings the day after 4 continents completed qualifying. United States, Canada, and Mexico will be joined in pot of number 1 seeds by top-ranked teams. Spain, defending champion Argentina, France, England, Portugal, Brazil, Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany. So these are the teams in pot 1. And definitely, we'll take a look at other teams there in pot 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, talking about the UEFA Champions League for FC Barcelona, they have been granted that they have been given the go-ahead to play their Champions League matches at their partially rebuilt Camp Nou Stadium. That's according to the update from La Liga. And UEFA definitely has approved onto that. But let's join our partners, the BBC, to take a listen to what they have for us as regards updates from that English football. And when we come back, we'll definitely part with the show.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Shabnam Yunus at the BBC Sports Centre. Former Wales and Premier League striker Rob Earnshaw says it'll be a tough ride for Wales World Cup playoff opponents, whoever they may be. After neighbouring Scotland qualified for the first time since 1998, Wales await tomorrow's playoff draw. They'll be at home to either Albania, Bosnia, Kosovo or the Republic of Ireland. Having finished second in their qualifying group, courtesy of an emphatic 7-1 triumph over North Macedonia, their biggest win since 1978, Earnshaw says they'll relish a tie against any nation.
There's the trademark saying, together stronger in Wales, and it is that. Everybody's together in that stadium, and the players go out and try and represent, the red wall, which is the fans, that's what we call them. So, whoever we come up against next, there's definitely going to be a little bit of fear, and that's exactly what we're trying to create.
Arsenal say they and Visit Rwanda have mutually agreed to end their 8-year sponsorship deal at the end of the season. The current deal is reportedly worth more than £10 million a year. And Morocco right-back Achraf Hakimi has beaten Liverpool's Mohamed Salah to be crowned the 2025 African Footballer of the Year at the Confederation of African Football Awards in Rabat. Hakimi helped club side Paris Saint-Germain to the French title and a maiden Champions League trophy. And for more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
All right, just before we leave, Roger Federer will be inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame in an induction celebration set for August 2026 there in Newport, Rhode Island. The ITHF rather, they made this known. But this is how far we can go on to this edition of the show. We'll come your way later in the afternoon, 3:30, to discuss more trending updates and making it around today in the world of sports. I am SAMIES, your sports captain. Do enjoy the rest of the day, and bye for now.